Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Get the Fork Out. We have our esteemed repeat guest here, Dean Harrison. How you doing, my man? Tell us where you're at.
What's up, guys? Yeah, man, good. I think we left off in Bali, um,
Yeah,
which was
that
super
was
fun,
fun.
super fun time. Got up to lots of mischief, some diving, some shoots and stuff, which is pretty cool. And
Yeah,
I
naked
think
shoots.
naked shoots, yeah, that's right. If
Yeah,
you haven't
no,
seen
you
it,
didn't
check
get
it out.
naked though. You didn't get naked. I just want to point that out.
I owe you. Well, hey, I was behind the camera. That would be so weird if I was naked.
All right, you get a
Um,
pass. You get a pass.
But yeah, so I had to leave to head to the Antigua Yacht Show to shoot with Shoreside Support for the chefs competition, which was insane to watch. It was really cool to
Yeah, I
be
bet.
behind the scenes and see 16 chefs just doing their thing. Like such a cool opportunity.
Yeah, it's I've never even been like around a cooking competition that I can even think of. That'd be really fun to just to watch, maybe partake in, but definitely to get a vibe and just the chaos of it all and the anxiousness and stress. I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was good to be on the other side, honestly, like to watch these guys are like sweating bullets, they got 30 minutes to basically create 3+ dishes as soon as the judges arrive. And it's like fast, man. It's like super fast paced, like trying to follow these judges around to boat. It's like you got 30 minutes, let's go, entree, main,
Yeah.
dessert, it was
So
it was
fast paced
intense.
for you. Fast paced for you. Not just them, but you were like on the go.
Yeah, for everyone, it was pretty intense, but very cool to see from the smaller boats, which some of these guys were cooking up stuff just as good as these big boats that had a
Yeah.
head chef, sous chef, and a crew chef helping them on some of these boats, and I was like,
Wow.
yeah, but yeah, it was super super cool to see.
Is that competition going to happen every year, you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's a staple in the Antigua Yacht Show. I think it's one of the better ones out of all the yacht shows because all the boats are super close. Everyone gets to stay in their galleys. I think Monaco might do one in like a kitchen somewhere, maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Monaco's the most prestigious, I think, just because like there's like Michelin chefs judging. It's just pretty full on, that Monaco experience of super high end. But who knows, man? I don't know. Like I said, I don't
yeah,
know much about these cooking competitions.
no, me either. I've tried to avoid them to be honest.
It just gives me anxiety thinking about it. I'd much
Does
rather
it
cook for
does.
billionaires than do a competition. Does that make any sense? It's just
But
the
yeah,
devil, you know.
yeah, it's yeah. But yeah, left film that, and then I actually joined a pretty well-known boat, which is G Machine, the fleet, which
Well,
most of
let's talk a little bit about because when you left Bali, I think you were determined like I'm going to start freelancing. I'm just going to get myself out there. So this is like kind of the beginning of your freelance. I hate to use the word journey, but that's kind of what it is. And what you've been doing for the last year, and it's been amazing. So I don't want to let any of the kind of surprises out, but the things you've been doing have been pretty epic. So Gene Machine, which is also a massive social media boat.
yeah, I mean that's a super interesting one. It's basically I think the only one of its kind that's a private boat and super active on social media. Like it's
Yeah.
I see the strategy behind that, which is the owner's promoting his company and his um, you know what he's trying to promote through his boats. The Gene machine is a machine that they use for medical use, and it's the name of the boat. So I see
Yep.
that even it's a very smart move to use the boats as a promotion to get his company in front of the general public.
Yeah, that's I think that's something that will kind of, I think, depending on who owns the yacht, but we're more found of in the industry where social media can be used like as in every industry as a tool, as leverage, as whatever it needs to be to promote or just kind of paint something in a different light rather than the secretive industry, which is what it used to be. It was like, no one needs to know who I am or that I own two massive yachts. It's I think it's changing. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's super lucky for us to be in this period of yachting where we're seeing the change, we're seeing the switch, where people, the owners of the boat are more open to social media, the charter guests are more open to it. You know, we've got this whole below deck revolution, which people dislike, and I understand that, but it's
Mhm.
brought it to a stage where people are more comfortable with filming on board and showing what it's like to be on a super yacht.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's just this, it's a tidal change from what we've seen as we kind of grew up in the industry. This was not allowed, and below deck, as vilified as it is, it has kind of spurned this change, and now people like you and I can actually film what we do, show what we love to do, and have kind of that other passion project of filmmaking and editing and just showing things that we think are interesting. It's fun.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, as you know, we both love it and love to document and love to show what it's like. So it's to have those platforms and people that are open to it. It's amazing for us to be able to be involved in that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. What so after G Machine, what happened there? Did you guys go anywhere cool? Because I mean, I want to hit on everything you did because it's the you traveled some miles, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so I'm looking for boats like Gene Machine, but they are rare, and so they don't always come along. But I kind of accepted that. So the next position, basically, I flew out the next day from. I did 3 weeks in St. Bart's,
Mhm.
filming everything. Like I got maybe 300 gig of footage, you know, in Gene Machine.
Wow.
On the other hand, I basically got dropped off in St. Bart's, flew out the next day to Dubai to a 70, I think it was a 73 meter, total blackout,
Right.
NDAs, background
Yeah.
checks, security checks. Had to do a police check, and basically it was a blackout of media. And I got there, and you know, I lost my inspiration of being there. I was, you know, I wasn't
Huh.
creating anything. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird thing to do, but
Yeah, that's pretty interesting because you've always been about that. You've always been about like, even if it's just quick, and I do think you've caught flack in the past for, oh, how does he have time to cook? But you do literally just phone, portrait mode, film, done. And then, you know, in your downtime, you cut it up or just did stories. So that must have been really surreal for you to just like not have that aspect of something you've been doing for years, which is cooking and social media, Instagram specifically.
yeah, it's I use it because I love filming just as much as cooking. So those two combined, it helps me, gets me inspired to do things, not only cook, but just to tell a story and film stuff. And I was
Yeah.
basically, you know, cut off on this boat, and I lost a bit of inspiration because I just didn't feel like doing anything, you know, exciting because I couldn't film it. And it's weird to say. I know that's
Huh.
very, but
Well, who cares? Who cares if it's weird to say? It's how you feel. I think it's cool.
yeah,
Like I get that. Where
yeah,
I think I'm lacking that piecing them together. Because I'm excited about cooking something. I almost forget to film it because I'm excited about cooking something. And I need to remember that more. That's something like if I want to do this, which I do, I need to remember like, hey, you better be on point with what shots you want to get from this whole process because you'll be missing pieces later when you want to stitch something together. So no, man, I think that if that's how you feel and that's how you want to approach it, then those are the jobs that you need to get. Those are the jobs that you want that'll want you there.
so yeah, that was you know, I was there for the opening of the new Atlantis, which, you know, Beyonce played and all that kind of stuff. So it was cool to be there. But I'm definitely looking for boats that are more, you know, more open to social media. So that's my whole um, that's what I'm aiming for at the moment, is boats that are open to that. I want to align with them and come together and promote not only the boat but myself. So I'm looking for boats that basically align with this and open to social media and promoting each other through you know, creating and just, yeah, I don't know how else to explain it, but
Well, let me stop you there because I think we're going to launch into something that we've got planned for later in the conversation. So after you go to Dubai, then you go, where do you go after that?
so I went to Canada for a little bit for snowboarding, which I love to do. went to Whistler. Sorry, just looking through, I'm just trying to figure out. Honestly, it's been a bit of a blur.
Man, I was so stoked for you. I'm watching you, and I'm just watching the miles, and Dean's the shot of a plane ticket, and he's somewhere with white sand beach and blue water and green palm trees, and then all of a sudden he's in snow and he's high and getting dropped out of helicopters and shit. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild, and I think that's the most important thing to mention about freelance is that you have this time for yourself and really to recover from these jobs, and
Yeah.
that's amazing about freelance. But also, I didn't have a job lined up after this, so it was kind of like, okay, I'm in Canada, now what? I don't really have a next paycheck coming in, so it is that unknown, but also you have to have
Yeah.
that trust in yourself and your networks and what you've built up in your career.
Yeah, it's true. I know that feeling where you don't know what's going to come next. And then you're out having fun, but it's kind of muddling with your fun. You're like, oh, what if I don't get another job for another month and a half? Can I spend the money on this? So it isn't all rosy, but from the outside looking in, man, it looked pretty cool. So then you're in Canada, and then because then you came back to the Caribbean, right?
Yeah, I got a call from an old captain actually that I worked with maybe 7 years ago on a sail yacht, and he offered me the job on, which we all know, 50-meter Soul Chef. It's probably like the Soul Destroyer, I like to call it.
Oh, so Lone Ranger. Oh
Lone
God.
Ranger. And to be
Soul
honest,
Destroyer
this
is
was
good.
probably, what's that?
Soul Destroyer is good. Yeah.
Yeah. And, it was a good day rate. And I was like, you know what? I haven't got anything lined up. So I took the position, flew to St. Martin after Canada, and proceeded to, what's the word? I mean, it was a small galley. It was a Riva, right? A Riva is an Italian build. We all know about Italian
Oh
builds.
yeah. Yeah.
They're sleek, they're beautiful, but they don't care about
They don't
the crew.
work.
They don't work. This thing was beautiful and it was great. New galley, I think it was about a year or two old, and but it just didn't have the storage. It had a storage for day trips out of the French Riviera, the Italian Riviera. That's all it was built for. So here I am doing a 2-week trip in the Caribbean. It was
Yeah.
tough.
I remember seeing your stories. You're basically just like pushing stuff with your foot into drawers. Like it just has to fit. I need this. Like
Yeah.
There are boats built like that, and then they get somehow sold to people with aspirations that don't fit into the mold of the boat. Like that's not what this boat is for. You just can't. So I was cringing on that, watching you do that. I'm like, oh, he's got no space. None.
Yeah. I was sleeping with watermelons, I swear.
Is that a euphemism? What are you doing with them? Jesus. Why watermelons?
I mean, I don't know.
Just that was the last thing that wouldn't fit.
Yeah, basically. I mean, they're huge, so
Yeah.
makes sense. So yeah, I mean, that was an interesting journey of being a sole chef, cooking for, I think it was 11 or 12 crew, and I think I only had like maybe 6 guests or something, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting.
And then that sounds like hell. And then and then what'd you do after the beautiful experience on an Italian built Riva?
So I was chilling in St. Martin for a little bit, and then I booked a heli skiing trip in Alaska about a month prior. So I flew back up to Alaska and did a week's heli skiing.
Oh yeah. So you went, that's a pretty crazy zigzag. You really you've been around North America for a bit there. Yeah. All around it.
Yeah.
The edges, the fringes.
Yeah, a lot of flights, but I mean, heli skiing in Alaska is just the pinnacle of, I guess, bucket list item, and it did not disappoint. So I'm glad I did it. It was worth.
You've done it a couple times recently, so I can tell you love it. I mean, you're just smiling the whole time.
Oh yeah, like it's to be on the top of a mountain like that and to get dropped off by a helicopter, super noisy, crazy helicopter, blowing snow everywhere, and then it disappears, and then it's complete silence, and just to be up there by yourself, a mountain that maybe no one's ever been on before, to be honest. Like that's what
That's
it's like.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah, that feeling, I've had other not similar feelings to yours, but those feelings were like, how do you explain this? How do you elocute this at all? Like this is a visceral feeling. I'm on a mountain. I feel the mountain. I feel the age, how old this thing is, and how huge. I might be the only person to ever snowboard down it.
Yeah,
Well
it's
done,
pretty cool.
dude. Well done.
Yeah, so I mean, yachting has helped me do that. So it's all a part
Yeah.
of yachting. This whole
Yep.
journey of like traveling the world like you do on your bike. Like it's allowing you, yachting is allowing you to do this and to
Yeah.
really live your life to the fullest and do the things that you love as well.
I've been saying for a while that yachting has allowed me to have a very interesting life. And that includes the yachting part of it. That includes our job. Our jobs are interesting, from the outside looking in, but also from the inside being a part of it, and the travel and the things you see outside the galley window, the food you're exposed to, the people that you're exposed to. But then, just as you said, it gives us these opportunities and the spare time and the spare money to be able to go, just send it, just whatever you feel like doing, just go do it.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, yeah, I mean, we know how it is. Can't recommend highly enough to people to get into yachting. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
definitely.
super interesting thing happened after that. I got a call from a captain, Captain Paul from Modia Loon, which
Oh,
we
all
all
right.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and we've always talked about working together ever since the Arians days, and we always stayed in touch. And he's like, I need a chef for this charter coming up in the Caribbean. Are you free? And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. Week charter, um, with some lovely Americans, which I'm very comfortable with cooking for Americans now. And had the most amazing charter, created a lot of content. All went very well. And basically, a few days later, I found out some pretty interesting news. He was got the feedback from the crew, from the guests, and offered me a full-time rotational position on the new 67-meter loon.
Hell yeah. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. So you've gone from
Uh,
freelance cowboy to now you're gonna get married again.
yeah, it was weird. It was like it was a no-brainer. Loon is the most well-known boat in the industry, and I was like,
For
this is the
social
opportunity
media.
that
For social
sorry,
media.
sorry, in social media, in the social media world, um, and it just makes sense for us to collaborate
Yeah.
on this project and go for it.
Hell yeah. That's exciting, dude. So and what's their plan for you? What do they want you to do? Like what is so rather than a job description of just the cooking, do they want you to just galley stuff, or do they want you to edit a ton of stuff, or how does it work? Or how will it work?
I mean, priority is cooking for the guests and the crew, but yeah, I mean, we're just getting Paul's idea is basically to collect and employ these people that are social media forward. He doesn't want anyone that's not wanting to be on camera, you know,
Yeah. That's
which
the worst.
it's the worst. So, I'm looking for a sous chef that's happy to be on camera, helping to film. Maybe they love
Yeah.
editing, but not necessary. But everyone just wants to get involved, like the the aim of it is just to have fun. Like that's the end goal is to just have fun and shoot some cool shit.
Yeah. And it is fun too. Like in my experience, as I'm sure with you as well, certain crew members gravitate towards the camera, and they're funny and they want to be involved, and other people shy away, which is also that's totally fine, and should be up to them. And but it's hilarious to see the personalities that come to the camera. You wouldn't have guessed it, and they do, and it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, it's good fun, but it helps
Yeah.
to. I think if we're creating this team to ask the question before we employ them. Um,
Mm.
and I just want to talk about kind of what I saw on Loon and what I observed, which was so interesting. We talked about briefly how the world is moving in this industry and how we're using social media. I can't give you the exact numbers, but over 50% of bookings are coming through social media for Loom, which is incredible.
Yeah.
We all know brokers charge up to
Yeah.
20%.
That's I was about to say that's going to piss a lot of people off in the best way.
It is, but look, brokers can be. I want to be careful here,
No,
but I
go
mean,
for
some
it.
brokers are great and they do
Some
the
are.
legwork. Some are, but some don't do 20% worth. Let's be honest.
Oh,
And
for what they get paid. Yeah.
for
Yeah,
what they get
absolutely.
paid. And we've seen the Ubers of the world take over, the Airbnbs. You're sitting on one right now that are
Yeah.
disrupted the industry, and I think this is the point of the turning point here that we're witnessing of, where giving the power to the owners, to the captains, to the crew, and there's that extra 20% that could go into better places,
Yes.
salaries, fun things, holidays, whatever, and
Yeah.
to the owner's pocket. Like 20% is a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
You're
and
cutting
if
out the
you
middleman.
you're cutting out the middleman, and it's happened, and it's coming, it's here, and
Yeah.
I think it's super important for these boats. If you don't have social media, you're missing out an
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Um, so I just want to get that across of like how important it is to have some sort of social media presence, whether you hate it or love it. It's here to stay, and that's that.
Yeah. And then if you can, if you at least like it enough to go full throttle and hire a crew to, promote the boat, promote whatever they want. It's all, yeah, I agree with you that I like the analogy of Airbnb and Uber. It's like, well, we cut out a pretty corrupt taxi system in America, at least, where these medallions would be stamped on a car for $150,000 on a shitty old police car. Like, well, that's cut out now, and no one has to pay for that bullshit service anymore. And with Airbnbs, it just gave access to, again, without the rental agencies, which you could say kind of what a broker is. And yeah, it's going to ruffle a lot of feathers. It's not going to be perfect. It's just a sea change, and it's happening. It's just more convenient and better this way. I'm never going to prefer a taxi over an Uber ever. Like, I want to do
Mm.
that.
Yeah, I mean, as you said it perfectly, it isn't perfect, but it's a start and it's moving in the right
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, super excited to join Loom, which is going to be in I think 2 weeks or so in the Med, and we're basically launching straight into we've got some great charters booked already, which is super cool.
Absolutely.
Um,
That's great.
Lots of interest, people contacting me directly, potential charters contacting me, brokers that have clients that are like seeing already we've launched Loon, and we know what Loon has done in the past and how fun Loon is. Like they were genuinely such a super fun crew. And that week went so quickly because I was just having the best time, like genuinely. It was cool.
That's great, man. I'm happy for you. That's so cool. That's like, yeah, I don't know if you could have thought of a better fit for you. Like, I think I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's perfect. So yeah, very excited also very nervous. I haven't done 8 or 10 weeks straight for a long time. But
You can do it. You can do
such
it.
a such
What,
a pussy now, man. I do like 2 weeks and I'm knackered.
you'll get back in game shape, man. You'll get back there.
Yeah.
What does their structure look like in terms of positions on board? Oh, I can't move this hand. I keep forgetting. Um, is there someone that does the editing? Is there a social media kind of like who's in control and who does what?
So they previously had a deck slash content creator who would do the filming, the editing. So he drove the tender, so he had time to kind of fly the drone. I say time, but really, like if you're a deckhand, you're already pretty busy. But
Yeah.
Blair, his name is, he was running around crazy, flying the drone on the tender stuff that a decky would do.
Oh, you're breaking up.
So, good.
I think so. Yeah. So he was flying around. He's on the tender and flying the drone and just doing all the decky stuff, but then just chucking
So
the drone up.
yeah, and I think if you really want to do this properly, there's got to be a position for a content creator on board, like full time.
Yeah.
I
It'd be
mean,
so
we know
much
how long
easier for, yeah.
yeah, we
Yeah.
know.
So like, yeah, it's like to film it and then to edit it. But then also when you're really busy, or even if something's going really bad, you can't pick up the camera. So if there's already someone milling around filming, it's worth a bunk, I think. Like just get someone in there that's got a camera, 3 cameras on them.
Yeah, one on the head.
Yeah, why not? Well, actually, those three, Jared Watney turned me on those 360 cameras. Like you could just have one of those in every room with some mics, and you got something, you know?
Yeah, yeah, true. But yeah, so he's going to be employed full time as content creator, which I think is one of the first in this industry. I don't know any boats that have a full time content creator.
So who is? Oh, the player.
So Blair is, yeah.
Yeah. All right, sick.
So
No,
it's
never heard of that.
we're gonna see more than ever, like more than ever before. It's gonna be pretty cool.
That'll be epic. And then and I saw Jared is posting stuff on Loon's behalf as well. Is he involved in this? Jared Watney?
Uh, yeah, I don't know how much I can say because it's
All right, no.
no. Well, I can touch on it. There is an association there, which will be revealed eventually, I think. But uh, yeah, hang on, just wait, just one. We might have to cut this. Um,
Tell me after, because it's too hard to find it in the editing. Tell me after.
okay. Yeah. Anyway, he's going to be so you'll see Jared on board Loon at some point,
Yeah. All right. Love Jared.
which is epic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I'm not sure what else you wanted to hear, but that's basically
Well, I mean,
wrap
I
up.
think yeah, I think that was it in a nutshell. Unless you want to talk more about kind of social media in the industry in general, in terms of like, I don't know. It's just I think it's a fascinating change to the industry, but also a massive business opportunity. Like there's money to be made in this, and new careers to be built, and possibly new apps, all kinds. I think oh, I can't remember the name of the boat. Good story, Brendan. Yeah, there's someone that's trying to do someone's trying to do, and then I killed the guy. There's someone that's trying to do an Airbnb type thing with yachts as well. So I think there are I just can't remember the name of the boat right now, unfortunately. But yeah, there are some people are making these moves, and why not? Why can't the yachting industry mirror some of the things that are happening outside in the real world? Just why not? Why do we have to have these gatekeepers, these curators? It's just it's really, I feel very fortunate to be in the industry for long enough to see how important this change is.
Yeah, it's yeah, as you said, why not? Why not? Why can't we apply the same as what we applied to all these other industries? It's yeah, it's if you don't have content creators and people, you know, flying the flag for your vessel or for your company, it's kind of you're going to get left behind.
I think so as well, because you got to ping up. Everything has to be SEO, search engine optimized. And if you're not, like, think about how the industry will change, will get left behind, where you just have like these old kind of fuddy-duddy brokers and people that aren't social media savvy or even computer savvy, even as the younger rich people move into the market. Like the way it stands now doesn't look as sexy as the way it's going to go forward. You're going to Google it. You're going to find the boat you want on a laptop, and then you're probably just going to contact the captain directly, or some sort of entity that controls the boat. And maybe those are still brokers to a certain extent, but I don't, the old way doesn't last in my mind. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing innately like, oh, that's perfect. We can't get better than that. It's no, you don't. People have asked me to book charters through on Arians, and they can't. They can't. There's got to be 20% out. You just so what are we doing?
It's yeah, it's almost like a mafia. It's a very I think it originated from pre-internet times when
Of
people
course.
would meet millionaires and billionaires in little secret, you know, in
Yeah.
Monaco and all these places before we had social media and we could look people up and direct message them. And you know, the brokers are holding on to that's their special connection. But you know, now as you know, we're talking directly to the guests that are coming on board, which is
Yeah.
probably scaring the shit out of them. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. And that's, I think they've always been scared about that. The direct contact with the people that actually do the job. brokers do a job. I have a couple of friends that are brokers who I love, and they're very good at it. And they're good at the job because they're ex-crew. And I'll always support ex-crew no matter what they do. But yeah, that's always been the fear of these wealthy individuals getting to know crew on a personal level, realizing that they're very good at their jobs, they're fun to hang out with. Why am I chucking 20% to a broker? I could just contact homeboy and just get on the yacht, you know? Of course, there's just legal issues for sure. I realize that I'm not naive to that there is a ton of paperwork, and maybe I am naive to it, but I think it could be simplified.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, AI generated contracts probably.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was just thinking about AI stuff and how long till our jobs get taken, but I think we're pretty safe.
we're safe for a while. I thought about this as well. Yeah, I Googled it, how chefs can use AI, and it's pretty grim. And what comes up is like, oh man. I mean, I think you can get it to write menus for you, but
Oh,
I'll try that because I'll write the menu and then just tweak it, you know, especially because some of those, as you know, like all of a sudden you have a couple dietary restrictions that you didn't know as soon as the guests get on board. Like, I think you could chuck in your whatever menu you had ready, and then can you make this gluten-free or whatever, celiac or lactose? And I mean, that would save me a ton of time just to
dude, that's
just
such a
get
good
that.
idea.
Yeah, I think there's definitely practical uses to it. But yeah, it's exciting times. It's scary at the same time, but yeah, it's happening, you know. What can you do?
I'll be stopped.
No,
Yeah,
no.
cool. What about you? What
Yeah, man.
about, can we talk about you?
Sure, yeah. Yeah. I'm in beautiful
Tell us.
Stockholm. Uh, so I was playing, I'm here visiting a friend, and she and I were playing volleyball all day at the park. Just beautiful weather, like sand pits, like beach volleyball. And then there are these rental e-bikes, really slow ones. Like they're not fast at all, but they give you like pedal assist. And we've been chucking them all around the city, familiar with them. So we need one, and it's like a beautiful day, so they're really hard to find. So there's like this weird one on its own. I should have known, this little rogue one on its own. So I connect with my phone, get on it, and the seat's low, and I just got to pedal the thing up as a small incline to get to Luis. So I'm standing up, seats down, standing up, and I'm about to go uphill. So in 10 meters, the front wheel locks, and that's the last thing I remember. Boom! I hit the deck so hard. And I think I was out, but not very long, maybe a few seconds. But when I woke up, left side hurt. I was pretty sure. Well, I didn't know where I was. I knew I was in Europe. I couldn't name Stockholm. Louise asked me if I remember her name. I just nodded, but I didn't. And just all these questions that I really couldn't answer. And it's weird. I've been knocked out a few times in my life. I've never had my bell rung that much where like memory was gone. Like, oh fuck. Like I knew we played volleyball, but I don't remember playing volleyball. I don't remember. Yeah. So, and Louise is in the nursing industry. So she got me right to the nearest hospital. And what had happened is like there's this wire that holds the fender, like the mud guard on top of the front wheel. And the mud guard was gone somehow. And then the wire had wrapped itself around the wheel, pinching the wheel, like locking the wheel. So that's how it all happened. We didn't take any photos of it, but she wrote in a report. They haven't been very helpful, to say the least, but I'm still chasing them up. I might get a lawyer, but who knows? Anyway, so I get to the hospital, and they take my blood straight away, because I didn't know this. If you have a brain injury, they can tell by your blood whether or not there's hemorrhaging or bad juju going on out there. So they take my blood first. I have to wait a little bit, go get an x-ray. Collarbone's broken. So they have to wait for the blood in order to do a CT scan. They need to wait for the blood to not waste a CT scan. So it's kind of like everything is almost in the process of cooking, in the right order, but we're in the emergency room for like 6.5 hours. So I got an old injury here from a motorcycle accident. I got a plate and 5 screws. So it was broken after that. So outside here, but so that bone, the collarbone with a plate in it, was sticking up like this. So there's a 3 centimeter or a 1 inch gap between the two pieces of bone. So, which is in essence is kind of why I had that thing that's what happened the first time. So I was familiar. I'm like, I know I need surgery. Like this isn't, the bone is not going to heal. I don't want a zigzag bone that heals with an inch and it might, I have to regrow an inch of bone. It'll take forever. So I just have a floating collarbone. So yeah, that's basically it. Oh, then the CT scan, that all came back negative. I'm sure I had some sort of concussion or whatever, but yeah. And then they were pretty reluctant to get me lined up for surgery. Like, oh, why don't you just go home? I'm like, I'm not flying like this. I think I have some broken ribs too, but if anyone's had broken ribs before, you know that they don't really do anything. You can x-ray, identify they're broken, but there's nothing to be done. So yeah, I'm just kind of in pain. So they're like, why don't you do it at home? I'm like, because if I go home, it lengthens the timeline before I can get back to work again. I'll have to go there. There won't be availability, da-da-da. It's just easier if I do it here. Plus, I'm familiar with what happens. I'm familiar with the surgery. Yeah, so it's actually pretty cool, and it's super sophisticated here. The system works. Those Americans listening, they're like, "Oh, socialized healthcare will never work." Well, because it does work. It does work elsewhere. Like our system is evil and broken, but it'll never work. It works. That being said, the boat insurance is paying for it. So yeah, I got surgery yesterday, believe it or not. So I got a little bandage here. Yeah, so that was, and I was like nervous going in because I hadn't even met the surgeon yet. I met the dude and he was like an older guy, confident, knew exactly what had happened, what my shit looked like. You can tell he'd been over my x-rays, and just put my mind at ease. We had like a plan A, B, and C because he wouldn't know until he got in there what he could actually do. So plan A worked, and that's what we went with. So I've got if this is my clavicle, I've already got a plate here. And so now I got a second plate longer on the top. So I got double plate on this side. It'd be interesting going through airports. Yes. But that's pretty much it. So now I'm just going to heal here for a little bit. I won't be able to work for like 6 weeks. I can obviously move this hand. I can't lift it over my head at all. And I'm not supposed to lift anything over 0.5 kilo for like 4 weeks. So yeah, just for riding a fucking e-bike. So I'm pretty pumped. Usually these things happen. It's more my fault. It's more directly I've messed up in some way. And this time I'm like, just some bad luck, but whatever. I'll do some more podcasts. Oh, I'm going to France. And so I got a very rare booking to one of the best 3 Michelin stars in the world.
Dude,
on the 10th.
No way.
Yeah. I'm trying to get one more seat because people want to come. People will fly here for it. I'm like, dude, I can't. They'll only give me the one seat so far, but I'm still trying. So I'm going to chill out in Stockholm.
That's wicked, dude. His food looks amazing. I always see it pop up on social media, and I'm like,
Bjorn.
It looks good.
Bjorn means bear. If I ever have a kid, I'm naming him Bjorn.
Dude, if he's as big as you, mate, it makes sense to call him Bjorn.
Bjorn. Yeah, man. So I'm just trying to stay positive. Everything's going my way, but there are down moments where I'm like, what the fuck? All right, guess I'm doing this now. But that's life.
Yeah. Honestly, like sometimes these things happen for a reason. It's going to give you time to, do some things that maybe that you haven't had time for, and it's going to make you do them. So.
Another exciting thing is I'm going to visit. I designed a galley on around an 80 meter. I gotta say around for NDA. Let's call it 70. Fuck it. I just said 80 meter. Doesn't matter. I won't say the yard, but a well-known northern yard. And so I'm gonna on the 23rd. I fly out to said country in northern Europe to see it. So I'm really excited. This is the second new build that I've ever seen in person that I've done, and it's a big like unveiling, and they're gonna sign off on it and shit. So I'm very excited for that. And I should be able to fly by then. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's just I can't. One of my bags is a backpack, so I'm definitely not carrying a backpack. But I'll make it work somehow. But yeah.
Congrats, dude.
Things are good, man. Yeah, I love that shit.
I just want to talk about like how there's not many chefs out there like you that are making sure galleys are going to be, designed in a way that it's workable. And it's so cool that they're finally accepting chefs to come in and do it instead of some I don't even know who they get to design some of these galleys. Honestly, like,
But I love, thanks, man. I appreciate what you've seen in your freelancing
yeah,
warrior. You see some horrible shit where like it's just kind of unacceptable what gets built.
it's, I mean, just down to like, okay, so one of the last boats I worked on, they had like a sparkly bench, right? And my OCD was in overdrive. I was just constantly thinking there was shit on the bench, and I was wiping it all the time. I'm like, man, who the hell picked this sparkly bench? And it looks like there's shit on the bench all the time.
Always.
Like, just give me a
Yeah.
stainless steel bench. Stop.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually stainless steel bench is the only kind of bench that the only surface I like stainless steel on. But that like my whole aim is to make things like like function over form. It has to really work. And then we can make it look a little bit sexy, but easy to clean. I just want things to be super practical. As you know, we work crazy hours on board. We're never in the hours of rest. And these galleys get built where no one gave a shit. They're like, oh, 80 meter. These are things that are meant to be an 80 meter galley. I heard this, got this list from someone else from another shipyard. Here's the room. All right. And they just throw everything in the room where it fits. Like, come on, just hire someone like me that can actually make it work and make it usable, because people are just, it negatively impacts the reputation of the yacht. And it's a kind of a weird pitch to do, because people think that, oh, to involve me in a build costs more. Obviously, I'm not doing it for free, although I have. Is that I just, to include me means a refit can get pushed back maybe 10, 12 years down the line instead of 5. Save money on that, and that you won't rip through as many chefs. And you just have like the whole purpose of this industry is hospitality, service. It's not transportation at all. It's only service. Otherwise, there's no point. We need to entertain these people. So I think the service areas, all of them, whether it's galleys, pantries, laundry, bridge, tender garages, wash down lockers. They need to work. They need to be super practical, very fast, big enough, and it all gets overlooked, man. It's just, to me, it's shocking. And if I can help change that, I'd be pretty stoked.
Wicked, dude. It's yeah, it's pretty cool to see you. This is you've always talked about this, so it's epic. I hope in the future there's more of this.
Yeah, me too. I think there will be. I think there will be. It's a very complicated situation. It's easy to paint it with like black and white, but it's quite nuanced in terms of like, who's to blame? Well, there's no one really to blame. It's just the way it is for now. It's chaos. It's not the designer's fault. It's not the architect's fault. It's not the owner's fault. It's not the yard's fault. It's just everyone's just not taking ownership of the end product of the service areas, which again is the whole point.
Yeah. I mean, you see the chief engineer will go to the boat to help, figure things out and make sure everything works and things are in the right place. But they get the captain there, they get the engineer there, but what are people doing all day? They're eating and drinking and enjoying on the boat. And no one gets a chef, no one gets a stew, no one gets the people where it really, also counts. So hopefully
I think one of the problem or what they need to realize is that you need to have, like, let's say it takes 3 years to build a super yacht, say 100-meter super yacht. You don't need a chef the whole 3 years to build it, but you do need a chef consultant in the beginning on the NDA that gets signed off on. So the NDA, the blueprints of the boat, not NDA, that opiate's kicking in. Let's call it the blueprint. No, what's that? There's a term for the paperwork. Let's call it a blueprint, but it's called something else. Oh, that shows my that looks really good, Brandon. You can't think of that name. I'm medicated right now. The blueprint of the boat, when that gets signed off on the final paperwork, like, you need a chef involved to make sure that those service areas or the galley and the storage areas, that they're right, because it can't get changed after that. So what happens is they hire a chef 3 months before launch or 6 months before launch, and you got a brand new galley. You can do whatever you want. It's gonna be amazing. And the chef gets in and he's like, oh, I can do whatever I want. This is gonna be sick. why is the oven there? Why is the sink so small? And then the chef is like spinning around like, what the fuck? Can I change it? And they're like, nah, it's too late. It'll be a change order. It'll be super expensive. And then the chef gets pissed off. And then whoever's involved in the bill, they're like, fucking chefs. They're never happy. And you're just like, oh, so that is exactly the scenario that happens right now. And that goes back into, all chefs, they're all different. No, they all won't. Yes, we are all different. And thank God for that. We want, differences in ethnic cuisines and all kinds of cool shit. But all of us chefs can build a better galley than you. Stop it. Stop. Don't do it. So that's part of my pitch, man. I won't go on with it anymore, but yeah, it's cool to see it actually come to fruition and to get more and more work. I just designed owner galley of 140 meter. So there's stuff coming, man. There's definitely stuff coming.
Nice. Sweet, dude.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to go to non-aforementioned Northern European country and see how it all came out.
Wicked. All right.
Yeah, man. There was a good catch up. Look forward to seeing you somewhere in the Med this summer.
Yeah, super excited to get back into it.
Yeah, man. Keep us all up to date what you're up to, and I love keep posting the stories, man. Love it. And the reels have been banging too.
Cheers, bro. Yeah, I'm sure you'll see it all in my stories if you watch, and hopefully Blair will be banging out some more of me cooking and stuff in the galley, which would be cool.
Oh man, I'm excited for you because that's it's kind of just takes a lot of the flow out of it when you got to film it.
That's it. No, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you either cook or you film. Like you can't. It's super hard to do both.
Did you ever put that GoPro on your head like you wanted to? Or the chest?
No, but I just ordered the head GoPro actually. So,
dude, get the 360. The 360 it's even weirder looking, but it's so much better, man. Honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's nuts. It captures everything.
True. Cool.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on. Get the fork out for the third time, homie. Always good to have you, and I'm excited for the future, brother.
Sweet, dude. Rest up, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. See ya.
Get the fork